What's up, Internet land? Today we're talking about mental health. We're talking about mental health and dads to be specific here. I think this is an area that a lot of us dads don't like to talk about. Um, you know, I feel like when you're a manly man and you're a man's man or whatever you want to call it, you don't want to be seen as having emotions. And I think this is what ties into a lot of mental health as a whole. But definitely, I think it ties into a lot when you're a dad. So, I mean, if you're a dad, if you're a parent and you are in that position where you're struggling with your mental health because of being a parent, then you definitely need to listen to today's, because that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about, first off, the importance of realizing when there's an issue, when there's not an issue, and then actually going out and getting it handled. I mean, no problem is too big or is that big of a problem if you need, unless you don't go and get help for it. So that's what we're going to talk about today. So mental health as a whole, I think over this entire, last 18 months has been something that has taken a toll on a lot of people. I mean, anti-anxiety and depression medication is just off the charts been prescribed over the last 18 months because people are hurting. People are hurting really, really bad. And this just compounds the problem that dads have, that when we are being providers for our family, right? Like, we always have a million thoughts going through our head. We're wondering, are we doing enough to put a good roof over their head? Are we doing enough to be there for them and be present when we're not at work? Are we doing enough to raise them right and not have them, turn into heathens? And you have all these focuses that are going on inside your head about, are you a good dad? And so what tends to happen at that point is we just compartmentalize it. We just bury it deep, because if we, it's kind of, the persona is, if you talk about your feelings, that makes you less of a man. And that's absolutely incorrect. Real men can own up to their emotions and we deal with them, right? Like, anybody can bury it deep. You can do that. What you really need to be doing is focusing on, how does this make me feel and how can I work through it? Because then when you work through the emotion and the mental health issues that you have, then you have control over the situation instead of the other way around. If you allow the feelings of not being good enough overwhelm you, you're allowing the situation to dictate and control your life. On the flip side of that, you realize you get in a funk, you get in a bad spot where maybe you're not doing so well. What do you do when those things happen? Do you bury it even deeper, or do you recognize, hey, I got something going on right now and I need to go and take care of this? Maybe that's working out. Maybe that's drawing. Maybe that's, getting 20 or 30 minutes after work that you do something just for you. The importance of talking about mental health is taking the stigma off of mental health is a bad thing to talk about. I'm not saying mental health in a way of like, you need to be on medication mental health. I think there's a big distinction there. Not that there's anything wrong with medication, because some people need that and that's totally fine and that's great. The point that what I'm talking about right now is whatever help it is that you need to be a better dad, to be a better parent, you need to take that. Because when you bury it inside of you and you do nothing about it, all that does is it makes you a very irritable person to be around. And then it's generally chalked up to, well, this is just how life is. It's not how life is. It is a figment of our imagination, because we've been conditioned to believe that men can't talk about their emotions and men can't talk about their feelings. That's absolutely incorrect. And I know for myself, going through, all the way back to when I first started getting sober 10 years ago, having to deal with the things that were going on in my mind is exactly how I got to being clean and sober. So now you flip that around and say, okay, well, Cody, I'm not an alcoholic. I'm not a drug addict. I didn't overdose and lose everything. Okay. But if you're wanting to make any sort of change in your life, it's the exact same thing. What I did wasn't easy. It was incredibly hard. Turning your life around when you're 30, 40, 50 pounds overweight, or you're just miserable with your life and you come home at the end of the day and you're just so fatigued that you have nothing for your family, that's not a life to live either. So we're still talking about change, right? In order to make that change, you have to get in tune with what's going on. Then once you get in tune with what's going on, you have to go out and you have to make a change. Continuing the status quo is going to continue with the same situation over and over and over again. I fell victim to this so many times. Still not perfect at this by any means, but I'm definitely improving. So I'm going to get off my soapbox there because I could go on forever about this. It was just something that I've been thinking about a lot lately. The more and more I've been talking to people lately, you know, mental health is something that's popped up a lot, and I feel like it's something that needs to be talked about. So as always, if you're watching that video live, please drop a hashtag live in the comments or a hashtag replay in the replay. It helps me out a lot, gets the video out to more people, so I really appreciate that. You guys have a fantastic day. Keep those questions coming. Okay, the more questions I get, the more videos I do. So have a fantastic rest of your day, and I'll see you later.